Hi, this is Trey with Rougarou Lacrosse. This is the first of what's going to be a couple of different reviews, discussions about lacrosse equipment, different techniques in lacrosse, lacrosse events, really whatever I feel like talking about, or if you request down in the comments underneath this video. So I'm going to kick off the series talking about Easton Lacrosse, what happened. Basically, where did they go? It's my understanding, they left because it's not profitable for them to be in it for whatever reason that happens to be. So the reason why I want to talk about them is when I first got into lacrosse, I said, hey, some of these bigger companies get into this thing and will really take off and grow even faster than it already is. Easton being one of them, because I was a baseball player. I played football, was my primary sport. I played baseball in the spring because I did not have lacrosse for the longest time, actually, until I got to school and picked it up at the club level. So to me, I'd used Easton stuff all the time. They always made good equipment for everything. Hockey, really anything they've touched, they've made good equipment. And lacrosse was no exception. Now, I will pump the brakes on that because I know a lot of you do have some issues with some of the Easton stuff. I'm not saying all of it was good. I know the Raptor helmets had issues. I know that their first run aheads being the launch also was not the best. Had promise, but really wasn't the best. I have one, way too flexible. It was nice and light, but it died in flexibility, a little clunky around the throat portion. As a matter of fact, this is the one I have. I did not pay full price for this one. I did get it on sale. It is the wood grain. What happened is I bought this nice wooden shaft here from Blackfeet Lacrosse. If you look for a wood shaft, definitely look those guys up. They got good stuff. And I was like, hey, why don't we go all wood with it and make it look 100% wood, which worked. Most people think it is. But as you can see on this launch head, it's very flexible, right? I mean, it flexes all over the place. Just you throw poke checks and it flexes back and forth. Not so great. But it was a good first attempt. It does have nice release, nice shooting and passing. So that's, primarily what I use it for is training my goalies. This wood shaft will eventually find a new home. Which brings us on to their next head, which was the Stealth. The first generation of the Stealth. They did make other ones. Now, as you can see, this one's in black, a little bit different. It is a little less flexible. It has a little bit more chunk to it. Only downside to this one is it does weigh more. Still has a decent release, but as you can see on this throat thing right here, it's still pretty thick. I mean, look at where the shaft starts, look where that goes. But otherwise, not bad. Definitely a great second attempt, but quite didn't nail it on this one either. One of the biggest things is that everyone knows about these Easton heads, if you've looked at them, is if you look in here, there's a little screw. What that screw does is it helps apparently adjust the angle of your head up to a couple of different degrees to fine-tune your passing as opposed to having to mess with your shooting strings all the time. So that's what that does, but it does add a little extra weight. Now, what I have it on is an Easton shaft. Easton shafts are freaking awesome, okay? These things are good. Easton knows what they're doing with alloy metals. They've been doing it forever with baseball bats. They've been doing stuff with hockey sticks as far as composites go, and even a few different metal sticks. These shafts are great. I really wish if Easton would just stay in making shafts in this game, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. I'd buy all Easton shafts without an issue. This is their Stealth Scandium TI. Decent, nice and lightweight. Not the lightest weight shaft in the world, but the thing is, you don't feel like you're going to break it. I mean, it's definitely on the medium weight, probably the lighter end of the medium weight shafts. Beautiful finish, just a little bit of grip, but not too much. I love this shaft. I really do. I will pick up more. Which, leads me on to other things. Easton made a whole line of equipment. Me being a goalie, I don't use a lot of midfield sticks other than just kind of goofing off and then warming up other goalies where I coach. But the Easton chest pad was pretty good. It's definitely one of the better ones I've used. It's well put together, well thought out, not too small, which a lot of us bigger guys that play in net, we find chest pads don't quite cover everything, and that's an issue for me. Like shoulders, not so much, but down here in the soft spot, you want some protection. Their elbow pads were great. Their gloves were pretty good. They were nice and protective. They're a little too stiff for my liking, but they were good. They looked good. Easton Lacrosse bag, I have that. I love that bag. That's the best lacrosse bag I've ever used. I've used the Warriors. I've used Reebok. I've used other ones. I love that Easton Lacrosse bag. Hand down, best lacrosse bag I think out there. Once again, it's sad Easton had to go. It really, it blows, right? I mean, the more companies that are in lacrosse, the better off we're all going to be, because that's going to force companies to innovate, do different things, be more competitive on their pricing, and therefore opening the door for a whole lot of other people to play lacrosse. I live in Louisiana. Currently, I played up in the Chicago area, and it's down here. It's a hit and miss on who has money, who doesn't. And that's really where lacrosse shuts the door on some people, is just pure cost of the game. You don't have to go get the best equipment as far as the most expensive equipment, but you need solid equipment, and even solid equipment can cost some money, which we'll go over in another review. I'm going to kind of give some hints and tricks about that. Just remember, don't believe the marketing hype on all the gear. There's a couple of companies that are very notorious for that. While they make great gear, they're all about the marketing. Okay. Now this leads me to my next and third generation of that stealth head. This, I guess this is the Stealth US, the F1 or whatever they call it. It does have a crazy, insane, obnoxiously bright string job. I did that on purpose. I wanted the most brightest, obnoxious mesh and shooters I could find, because as you can see, this does not have a shaft attached to it. The shaft that's going on this is equally as crazy as all the colors on this, and I'll show you all that once it comes in and I get some time with it, do some wall ball. Now, this instance of the Stealth head, which would be, I guess, the third generation as far as I'm concerned, they nailed on this one. Third time around, third time's a charm. This head is light. It's lighter than the past one. It's on par with my Torque. I do have an OG Torque. Actually, you see it right there, that blue one up behind me. Nice and light head. If you don't know about Torques, you're probably a little bit younger. You need to go find out about them. They're great heads. This one, nice and light. Very, very light. Even including the screw piece. As you can see, there's some metal in here. We still got the screw to adjust the angle, which adds to the weight. They take that out. This head is going to be among the lightest in the game. Maybe an ounce or two out, not quite as light as maybe like a Lakota, but it's definitely on par with like the Evos and things like that. It's a nice head. I think what killed Easton on the head market is this little adjustment thing. I don't really have one way or another. I can tell that my dog is playing with a squeaky toy. That's why he's making so much noise. He squeaks back at the toy. But this head is great. I mean, it's nice, it's light, it's stiff. As you can see up here, all kinds of stringing holes on this thing. To do any kind of string job that you want to do on it, you can do. The other thing too, which also adds to the stiffness, is if you see right in here, they call that the box beam construction, and that's where they allowed them really to cut out some weight and still keep that stiffness. So this head, I'm going to be putting it through its paces too, especially with the shaft. Like I said, stay tuned for that review. That's going to be an insano shaft. But yeah, I mean, we got to support these companies that get into lacrosse, whether it's a big company, a small company. If it's a new company in lacrosse and they have decent stuff, we got to get on there. We got to support those guys for the growth of the sport. That's what I'm all about. I love the game. I want as many people to play the game. I want the game to be as big as, your footballs, your basketballs, your baseballs. Sorry to all you baseball traditionalists. I played baseball for a long time, and baseball's got nothing on lacrosse. Lacrosse could absolutely supplant baseball with the right support, and once it grows, baseball is days as far as being very popular. They're going to go downhill. They're going to lose their athletes. They're going to lose a lot of stuff. Lacrosse, once it gets big enough, will be on par to compete with football, with athletes they already have. I mean, look at some of the athletes that commit to your Virginias, all those different things. Lacrosse is growing, guys. We need to support these companies. There's a ton of them out there. If they have a decent gear, check them out. Check them out. Read your reviews. Definitely do what you can. Grow the game. Get out there. Play wall ball. Anything you can. So, like I said, introductory video. I wanted to talk about Easton. Like I said, sad they're out of the game. I hope they do plan on jumping back in the game sometime soon. Like I said, even if it's just purely shafts only, that would just be perfect for me. So I'm out. Once again, this is Trey, Rougarou Lacrosse. See you later.